Hello, welcome back to the channel. So let's do a simpler example based on definite integration. But before starting with this example, if you have not watched our previous video on definite integration, I would highly suggest you to first watch that video, and then it will give you a better idea of what this representation means and how to easily solve such questions based on only this representation which is given to us. So we'll start with this question. This is basically a very easy question where you have to calculate the area under the curve of function y equals x bounded by the intervals x equals -2 to x equals 5. But the one important thing that you have to take into consideration in solving this question is that you have to evaluate the following integral by interpreting it as a signed area. So what signed area means is whatever region or whatever area would lie below the x-axis, you'll consider that area to be negative, and whatever area or the region would be above the x-axis, you'll consider that area to be positive. We'll do this example and we'll see what the signed area means in this case. So whenever you're given such type of questions, when you have to interpret the signed area or when you have to calculate the area under the curve for a function by only using geometry, it's much recommended to first sketch the graph of this function and notice how the area under the curve would look like in this case. So we'll start with first drawing the sketch of the function y equals x. So I'll draw the axis first. This is my y-axis, this is my x-axis, and my function y equals x would look like this, right? I'll adjust this graph such that it passes through the origin. So now this is my function y equals x. Now I have to calculate the area under the curve for this function bounded by the intervals x equals -2 to x equals 5. So now let's denote those points on the x-axis. So this is my -2 and this would be 5. So now I have to basically calculate the area bounded by the region this and this. And if I'm able to calculate the total area bounded by the region 1 and region 2 by taking the sign notation, I'll basically solve the question. As I already mentioned at the start of the video that we have to calculate a signed area, so whatever area that I'll calculate for my region 1 will be denoted with a negative sign because that area will be considered negative as it is lying below the x-axis, and the area for my region 2 would be considered positive because it's lying above the x-axis. And now it's easy to calculate the area because the area of my region 1, which I'll denote by a1, is basically half times base into height. So my base is 2 in this case and my height is 2 as well because it's y equals x, right? So this will be -2 as well. So my area 1 is half times base into height, which is 4 by 2. My area 2, which is denoted by a2, would be half times base is 5, and similarly height is 5 as well. So my a2 is 25 over 2. So now since I'm calculating the signed area, my a1 is negative. So my final answer for the area would be, which I'll denote as a, my final area would be a2 because it's positive minus a1 because a1 is lying below the x-axis. So my final answer would be 25 by 2 minus 4 by 2, which is 21 over 2 or 10.5. So that was it for this video. This was a very simple question, but the main takeaway from this video was the calculation of signed areas. So whenever you're given a question in which you have to calculate the signed area, whatever area you'll get below the x-axis, you'll consider it to be negative, and whatever area you'll get above the x-axis, you'll consider it to be positive. And based on the total sum, by also including the signs of those areas, you'll get the final answer. So let's wrap this video up right now. I hope you found it interesting. Please follow the channel in order to get notified about the other videos that I'll be uploading. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye. Stay tuned.